Story is great, and the thing about this is Final Fantasy VI did what a lot of stories can't do. Final Fantasy VI did what Episode 1 couldn't do, and that was not have a main character. Final Fantasy VI follows multiple stories of multiple different characters that have varying importance depending on where you are in the story. It kind of it starts with Terra, it kind of moves over to Locke, then it goes to the brothers story, and moves over to Celeste, being more about that, and it kind of switches back forth. It really has about 6 or 7 characters that at any point in the game you can argue is the main character at the time, which is what they tried to do with Star Wars Episode 1, which there wasn't really, Anakin didn't come into 45 minutes into the movie, wasn't Qui-Gon Jinn's story, it wasn't really Obi-Wan's story or anything like that, but
you couldn't describe the characters without saying their job or their appearance.
Yeah, the Episode 1, the characters ended up being really flat, and it was too convoluted, and you didn't really know what was going on. This story in Final Fantasy VI, it did the no main character thing perfectly, because as you go in and out of each character's story, and as they mix and intertwine with each other, it really works together well, and it brings out the overall story as it builds it. Hey, who remembers the opera scene? I would just replay the opera scene over and over again. Like I would do it and beat it, and then I wouldn't save. I'd just go back and do it again because I love the opera scene so much. Oh, I thought you had something to add.
I might add something when you get this.
The character dynamics is so intense. I don't even have time to like go into. I don't even have time to go into all the character developments. There's just too much to do.
I know, right?
Some characters come in really late in the game. Some characters we start really early in the game. And even the characters that come in late, they end up being really great additions to the party. Okay, here's how you know you have a great story development team. The child character was not annoying.
10 in a row.
And useful. Ends up with the rest of the party. Actually, it's actually her grandpa who's kind of useless. Like real life.
Like not Hope.
So let me get into the gameplay. Did I mention I like the opera? Yeah.
It's not like
I'm motherfucking T-Rex! So, my absolute favorite character in Final Fantasy VI is Celeste. No! Yeah,
There's one argument.
Final Fantasy VI, Celeste is the most breakable character I've ever seen in an RPG. In the beginning, she's pretty balanced. She's the mixed mage fighter cast. She's the fighter caster, which fighter casters tend to be bad in almost any RPG thing. I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of fighter casters. However, Celeste is a good mix at the beginning of the game. By the end, once you get past level 50 with Celeste, she is absolutely incredibly broken and is the greatest thing in your party. She's a caster. She ends up being a caster who has just as much attack power as Terra does, the true caster, and she also has as much normal melee damage as your best melee person, which is your monk character, which is
Oh my god.
Like she's almost a full caster because her magic spell list is just as big as Terra's. You can feel it just as big.
About size, bro.
And you can put her in the front row. She's a full caster you can put in the front row that has incredibly good defense, and she hits just as hard as your monk.
Yep.
Yeah.
What? Stupidly breakable. And then you give her the thing that gives her X attack, and X attack is where it attacks 4 times instead of 1 time.
The X-Box.
Xbox One, dude.
Yeah, she can wear the heavy armor, so she's more protected. You give her the paladin shield and the Atma weapon, game's over. Celeste, I've actually done it before because I wanted to see if I can do it. I have beaten Kefka with no one but Celeste.
What?
I skip. I have a full party, but they don't matter. I skip everyone's turn except Celeste, and I let them die, or I'll even like attack them or whatever. And I can beat Kefka with only Celeste. Because basically, so she has her Atma weapon, which does 9999 because it does what your health is. So you get her health up to 999. It does 4 9999 attacks in a row, and you can basically you can kill them with pure melee and you can kill them with pure magic. You can give her the gem box, which the gem box gives her X magic, which automatically doubles cast something. And if she knows Mimic and Ultima, Quick, Mimic, and Ultima. I forget the sequence. You cast Quick, and then you cast Ultima, and then you cast Mimic to double Ultima, and then you cast Ultima again, and then you put the controller down and go eat. Because it's just a constant stream of Ultimas happening after that. You don't have to do anything else. Kefka dies by the time you come back. It's the FF6 version of Knights of the Round, except it's one character. It's not a secret summoner. It's just a basic build of one character with a couple really good items. So yeah, so that's how you break Celestial in that game. Oh, and that's
favorite ship.
That's my favorite ship of all the Final Fantasy.
I never get Alexander. I never got Alexander. With the cable, I never fought that thing ever. I'm like, I can't fight her. So easy. I would always
This game is good, but sorry, I really like this picture. Anyway, obviously Celeste. That was clearly a 16-year-old blonde general.
That's just the part where the stupid bitch dies. Get there, goes Super Saiyan, and then we're done. Never got my cake, please.
Yeah, I've
Eric was still alive when Cloud put her in the water, so Cloud killed Eric.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they used a whole bunch of science and stuff to explain how the body, there's no blood, there's no magic stuff.
So Clone dropped it.
Yes.
Son of a bitch. And Final Fantasy VIII was all a dream. After the first bit. So yeah, so in America, the last thing we saw was Final Fantasy VI/3 of you had the Super Nintendo cartridge said 3, but it meant 6. And then suddenly, the next console generation comes out, and the PlayStation comes out with Final Fantasy VII, and all of America goes, what happened to 4, 5, and 6? What about the rest of them? So we had to get all of those later, all of those. And by 4, 5, and 6, I of course mean 2, 3, and 4, and 2, 3, and 5. 2, 3, and 5. I hate
That's better, man.
So
it is annoying.
It hurts your brain. So the story.
Lesson 1: never give her your item. Don't waste your time building her up.
I got great possible for now.
Well, she's not one of those biscuits.
She's really useful in the first. She's really useful in that first disc. Obviously, she'd be kind of useless in every other disc because she's not there. But she's really useful when she is there. So just make sure you take all her items away before you get that fight. That's why you need to use Game Shark when you're playing. So the characters.
Exactly.
So the characters in the story. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on Final Fantasy VII because I'm not talking about Final Fantasy VII and everyone knows about Final Fantasy VII. Characters in the story were of course really good. You'd be a moron to say Final Fantasy VII was a bad game. Of course, it's a fantastic title and it's one of the best Final Fantasies.
They have that.
It has a story storyline that's almost as good as 6, but not quite. And it has a main villain that's almost as good as Final Fantasy 6, but not quite. And by the way, Kefka would completely annihilate Sephiroth in a fight.
Didn't he like kill like all the summons?
Kefka murdered the summons and ate their power. Sephiroth has a big sword and fire. Oh, he destroyed planets. He destroyed all the planets. Multiple times while laughing, and Kefka had a smile on his face. He's the Japanese Joker. He was so interesting as a character. This guy brooded more than Twilight before Twilight.
That's true. Several of them will want the fanfiction.
The original Live Journal ranter.
And those guys were Final Fantasy VII fans. Yes. Again, I like this game. I really like this game.
There's a reason we have killed the witch.
Buster Sword, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Everyone loves the Buster Sword. This guy never got Knightrokon.
I never got it.
I never got Alexander. I never got Alexander. I know. Shut up. It was so hard for me.
Yeah. So now with 7, with now 7, the gameplay finally breaks away a little bit from that classic like screen. Yeah, you actually like, oh, are we getting an angle? We're like there's 3 dimensions in these games, and I so wish with all of my heart that 6 and 7 were flopped. I wish 7 had been the last one on the Super Nintendo console, and that 6 had been the big release on PlayStation. Because all the hype that 7 gets, 6 would have it and more because the story was better. This was a great game, but it was the wrong one to introduce the PlayStation graphics to in the technology book because it was a huge jump in technology from Super Nintendo to like PlayStation or 64. So I really wish the times were flipped because Final Fantasy VI, the story could have been told so much better if they had this like polygon
But
technology.
do you think it's partly to a culture change because this introduced the pretty boy types, like Sephiroth, and that's when B Shonen started becoming popular.
That's true. Keep in mind that had these titles been flipped, you would have had more than one pretty boy. Locke would have been a pretty boy. King Edgar would have been a pretty boy. Your brooding pretty boy would have been his brother. Would have been the brooding pretty boy. Like you had more. I'm talking about the people that would want it. Like all those things would have been there. Overwhelming. Okay, wait, 15 minutes. Let's move on.
Alright. Gun sword, yar!
Impractical, awesome-looking weapon for the way. Okay.
Zell, Dolphin King, the end.
So. So I was talking about it earlier. Does anyone remember the fan theory that when Squall got stabbed by ice, he everything after, and he wakes up after everything after that he was actually dead, or not dead, he was dying, and that was his mind healing with dying. Which is the same thing that happened after the second episode of Pokemon. So basically, you have like the amnesia orphanage.
The end of Lost.
Yeah, the end of Lost. You have the amnesia orphanage going on a journey together to like get some stuff. I actually only played the first estimate. I didn't hate it. I liked 8. I just never got a chance to get back to it. So it seemed like I hear a lot of. Has anyone heard a lot of hate for 8?
Yeah. Because it wasn't 7.
Who exactly? Who here actually doesn't like 8 very much?
I hate a lot of people have a thing with card game when that enemies in 8 leveled up with a player. Yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword. So everyone at this point was so used to playing the Final Fantasy, so used to grinding, that it didn't look like hate that grinding did not benefit you. Grinding became just as strong as you were. Grinding on the inverse, if you were really, really clever, you could like take moves from your enemies and then just like take moves and then run away. So you never level up. My friend actually beat it like level 15.
The junction system was very exploitable in this game. If you could figure out, it was a little convoluted, but if you could figure out how to exploit the junction system, you could beat the game at like level 18.
But everyone's playing the card game. No one's playing the actual game.
Wizards still in the very beginning of junction.
Everyone loved this card game.
Trinity Triad?
TD Fantasy!
Yeah, okay.
So Final Fantasy, you were saying. I gotta hurry along. There's some stuff I gotta get through. Okay, so they definitely went for a very experimental art style with this. You'll notice they didn't return to this, but I was okay with it. I thought having a different art style and trying something new was really good. The game was really fun. The game was really fun. The story was really good. I thought Zidane and Dagger played, and yes, her name is Dagger. Deal with it. Zidane and Dagger played off each other really well in the game. I thought that went over really well. Characters, like I said, I heard some people shouting out Steiner. Steiner is a fan favorite.
All the characters are really interesting. You actually did bring this one. You actually did care about all the characters.
Get out of my panel.
Yeah, he did just
call a black Major Jawa. Get out of my panel.
Get out.
Damn it.
So yeah, so Final Fantasy 9 was cool. Okay, was it just me, or was the final arc the final arc leading up to the final boss really fucking hard? It was. I thought it was grinding and doing a really good job, and I'm like, I'm tough and I'm ready to go up those like long stairs. First battle, die. Alright, let me go level up for what I'm trying to get first. Die. It's so hard.
Like I never played.
Okay, let's go on. Gameplay's cool and stuff. You got the same summons. things like that, attack time based. So basically from 7 on, after 7, they felt like they had a good system, so they kept the attack, or they kept the actual combat thing pretty similar. They would change it up with materia, the junction, to whatever was in 9, I don't remember.
On the downside, you couldn't save up your overdrive, so whenever you hit your berserk mode, you had to use it in that battle. So you couldn't just be like, easy turn. They didn't want people to do easy mode with boss. They just dump their limit breaks.
Fantasy 10, and now we have the first voice acting experience.
Including some staples that you guys have learned.
Here's the thing. I have to give them a little bit of a pass on the voice acting failings. It was the first game that they did voice acting. They did a great job. They were smart enough to get both Tara Strong and John DiMaggio. Holy crap! Yeah. On the thing. For those of you who don't know, John DiMaggio, also known as Bender from Futurama, is Waka, and Tara Strong, also known as Raven, Twilight Sparkle, everything that your childhood was a part of. Tara Strong did.
John DiMaggio was Kimari too.
Yeah. Oh, he was Kimari too?
Yeah.
I mean, I knew that because I researched. And Ari the badass. Ari the badass. Yuna's a classy lady.
Dude, did you know that? Did you ever watch Tenchi?
Yeah.
You guy who plays the Chocobo Knights is Tenchi.
Oh, okay.
Classical, you know the
This game is very exploitable because it would tell you what your enemy's weak against. Give you the stats. The overdrives were savable, both the overdrives and the summons overdrives you could save. So be like, I have a hard boss battle. I'm gonna go on easy mode. Let me build up all the overdrives. Time to fight the boss battle. I use half my overdrives and I've already won. Very, very exploitable. It's very like new. I think they wanted to bring in new fans, so they made the gameplay.
Fight with the sun.
Yeah, or I'm sorry, like
Sorry, dude.
everyone knows.
If you were here for the last match, you'll understand why we raged so much.
Why did it start off with a concert?
No, people are actually leaving.
Actually, see, this game is so bad. We have 5 walkouts. That's how bad this game is. Okay, so let's talk about this piece of shit, shall we? Okay. So already, here's a problem. Here's a problem before we even have characters and gameplay and everything. The problems start with the artwork. Now they modded a lot off of just like they just took a lot from originally FF10, but there's the artwork definitely changed a little bit because I look at these characters and I already don't give a shit about them.
Sounds right.
These were the people that wouldn't talk to you in high school. Like these are the jerks that are like, oh, you're in drama club.
My question: why did they make it 2 out of a 10? Why did they make it 2 out of a 10 game?
Actually, you're in drama club. This is
Quarterback and head cheerleader.
Yeah, this is the quarterback and the head cheerleader. I apologize if you were an athlete. I lettered in 2 sports in high school, but still, I was still good. Swimming and water polo. Which, by the way, if you're fat, don't get into swimming and water polo. It's a terrible idea.
You're black.
It's not good for your self-esteem. But I was technically on varsity.
Just saying.
Okay. So anyway, my personal baggage aside, like you just look at them and you just don't care about what's going on. And this scene right now, this is like in the opening thing. They're about to be. Oh yeah, not Yuna and not Titus are about to be murdered by like a goon gun squad. And there's absolutely no tension in the scene.
Gunned down and handle bullets.
Yeah, they're about to be gunned down and handle bullets, and you absolutely don't give a shit about them. Compared to this scene from 10. Now, and I'm only talking about the artwork. Just look at the artwork. Like you can feel everything that they're feeling, like everything that she's, the dilemma that she's having. It's on her face. Yeah, FF10. And here's the interesting thing about
She sees the future. That's why she says.
She sees the future. This was a scene where they're about to die, and there should be a lot of tension in this scene. It should be a really very climactic scene. You know what's going on at this scene in Lake Magdalena? Goddamn nothing. They're on break. They're just chilling in the water because they have a break for while they're resting for a little while. There's literally no tension in the scene. There's no actual there's nothing at stake in this particular scene, but you care more about the plight of what's going on with the characters, which shows how good that they set up the story. Unlike what they did with X2. Don't give a shit when it should be a climactic scene. Care more than I should when it's what should be a boring scene, but it's actually one of the best scripted scenes in the game is when they're in Lake Magdalena Temple, and that's when these characters finally get together. And if anyone was here for the previous panel, who's here for the previous panel? Yeah,
I want these cookies.
You save. When you ship two, I don't care if you're a fan fiction writer or whatever, when you have two characters that you want to put together, you save it till later. By the time they actually got together, the audience wanted it so bad that it made for a very intense moment. If they got together within the first 10 hours of the game, this is like a 90-hour game by the way. If they got together in the first 10 hours of the game, this would have been. It was a 90-hour game. If you really were playing, it was 90 hours.
If you really were playing. Hold up, man. Why do you care?
Real quick, let's talk about character assassination. Okay. So basically, we have this new character called Pain.
What he said.
Speaking of fan fiction, Pain was. I'm convinced that the person who came up with the concept for Pain was a 45-year-old man living in his mother's basement who looked at his computer screen and said, "I wish Lulu was a lesbian and less interesting."
Hey, watch your mouth. Watch your damn mouth.
And thus Lulu was and this is what I call character assassination. Now here's the thing. But before I get hit with the sexist tag, which is a very thin around the walk on. There's nothing wrong with this character concept, with having a character who likes to show off what she's got, a very charismatic gunslinger. I'm a strong, powerful woman. That's fun. Yeah, if you were making a female version of Devil May Cry, why not? This would be a great character.
Lots of people like Bayonetta.
You all Bayonetta.
That is not the character you're working with here. This is the character you were working with. She was very demure. She was very mild. She was very meek. There was this genuineness to her character, and they completely assassinated it in X2, and they didn't even give you a story arc to explain how she went from this.
Fluttershy just became Bayonetta, no explanation.
Yeah, Fluttershy just becomes better Bayonetta. What? Yeah, and she's a pop star and can sing, because that was established that she was a singer. Oh my God, yes. This is a class change system done wrong. Final Fantasy Tactics is a class change system done right. This is a class change system done wrong. It made no sense. It was convoluted and stupid.
Talk about sexism.
So speaking of sexism, when they changed classes, they had to be in a cool new sexy outfit.
Serious these days now.
I want to reverse that.
Sexy caster, sexy doctor, sexy furries, whatever. Whatever you want. Sexy white mages.
I like expensive games.
That's all they wear.
So now let's talk about.
Everywhere you went, man.
Almost not. It was good.
So Final Fantasy XI was the MMORPG, the first MMORPG experience, and it was pretty good. The storyline was
decent, but it was
not as good as what we see.
It's an MMO that's kind of hard to do.
The gameplay was not as good as previous Final Fantasies.
It was money.
It's very pretty.
Yeah,
very pretty.
It looked very nice.
So let's review. Storyline is less good. Character concept is less good. Gameplay is less good, but the game looks really pretty. Well, that pretty much covers Final Fantasy 11 through 13-2. Thank you for coming. What?
All right.
Very good.
Oh, you mean Star Wars? Okay. Hard. You mean episode 100?
R.I.P. We didn't have enough time. Rest in peace, Squaresoft. I hope you die, Square Enix.
Yeah.
And with that, we're done. We're Zonza Studios. Come check out our website. We got a lot of cool stuff. We got artwork. We got video games.
Oh man.
We got stories.
I don't think I'm going to wait it.